Oh, I tell you, just sensational stuff.
You ain't so tough with that bad boy talk. I'ma get it how I'm living, I'ma walk the walk. Outline my lines, I rap through thought.
Hello gang, how's it going? Welcome back to Football Therapy with me, your host Jan, and I do hope you're doing well, mate. I really do hope that we've signed Moises Caicedo. Here we ruddy go. Absolute silly amounts of money, but we learned from that game, that draw against Liverpool, as Gallagher played well, but he's not a CDM. And Enzo was magnifico in the midfield, of course, winning man of the match, demonstrating why he's just an absolute sensational, world-class, dare I say, generational player, needing that high-profile, appropriate, long-term partner, which ultimately is Moises Caicedo. Make no bones about it, we've spent £220 million on two players, a double pivot, but if you know me, you know I say games are won and lost in the midfield, and hot dog, ladies and gentlemen, we have a midfield now for the next decade-ish, that it looks super appropriate to build our team around. Just incredible scenes, really. I just want to take an opportunity to thank you for reaching over 175,000 subscribers here on Football Therapy. It's a very humbling situation to be in, so I want to thank you all. I guess this is hashtag road to 200,000, so please do consider subscribing to this channel. And if you want to support me, drop a like. Lovely stuff. So in today's video, we're talking about the Caicedo deal, what it is, Kepa joins Real Madrid, and Romeo Lavia next, and I have a little feeling down in my gut that this is not the end for Chelsea in this transfer window. Vibes are good, feelings are good, everything's good, man. I'm talking about a lot. I do a lot of stuff on my social media, on my Instagram page, by the way. If you want to get personal with me on live streams, do consider following me at Football Yannick. Actually, I just got 28,000 followers on that, so that's kind of like road to 30,000. 2,000 more, get the big 30k. That felt like a special number when I got it on subscribers on the channel. So maybe I'll feel the same on Instagram, at Football Yannick. But we're going to read an article from Jacob Steinberg talking about how this Moises Caicedo deal came to pass. In Chelsea are set to break the British transfer fee for the second time in 7 months. Oh yeah. Although, wait, okay, so Declan Rice was 105 million. Okay, so yeah, it's about the same as Enzo. Enzo might have been like the same. After agreeing a £115 million deal to sign Brighton midfielder Moises Caicedo, who will undergo a medical today before completing his long-awaited move to Stamford Bridge. Caicedo, by the way, has been lurking in London for a long time. Liverpool contacting him, saying, look, we've got a bid accepted, come to Liverpool. But he said, respectfully, Fabrizio Romano actually said, thank you for your interest, Liverpool, but I only want to go to Chelsea. So he told Liverpool directly that he only wants to come to Chelsea. And of course, like we said on the channel previously, at that point, he'd already been messaging Chelsea players. He was in London. You know, Liverpool made an offer of £111 million for Caicedo, and that was accepted last Thursday, but so they were unable to convince the player to move to Anfield, Steinberg writes. The Ecuador in the midfielder's preference has always been to join Chelsea. Proper ruddy Chelsea, nearly swore there, who has thrashed out a deal that will see them pay, so it's £100 million is the base fee, and £15 million in performance-related add-ons in frantic negotiations with Brighton. So he's set to sign an 8-year deal with an option for an extra year. So it's like Enzo. Enzo was 8.5 with the option for a year. And we think we extended it to 9.5. So it's like a 9-year deal and a 9.5-year deal. And of course, because we got them 6 months before, they will be on the same. This is obviously a plan. It lines up perfectly. So now, after the first 6 months of Enzo's contract, they both have a remaining 9 years together at Chelsea Football Club. And hopefully, touch wood, cross your fingers, that can flourish into a long-term, well, I look like a really inappropriate signal there, a long-term, relationship, developing partnership for Chelsea and, bring us greatness. I've also read reportedly that the £15 million of add-ons, 7.5 is very achievable, 7.5 is very difficult. Okay, so yeah, this is the interesting part. Brighton have added a sell-on clause, which has had to be driven a hard bargain. They were adamant Caicedo would not be sold for under 100 million and rejected several lower bids from Chelsea. Brighton have lost several players and members of staff to Chelsea in the past year. Yeah, look, Brighton have played an absolute blinder here. They've put us over a barrel and they've shown no mercy whatsoever. And yes, hindsight's 2020, but it's worth mentioning, had we maybe a month ago, it says, all right, we're going to give you 90 million. Say we went to 60 million, 65, say, look, guys, we want to get it done. 90 million plus 5 million in add-ons, 95. They probably would have gone, all right, shaken our hands, got a replacement and done. But we've ended up playing more than that, and also they've put on this really jammy sell-on clause. But that shouldn't really matter, because if all things go to plan, he stays with us until he's older, and then it doesn't really matter, does it? Because the sell-on clause might be what, like 40%, and you know, if we just get him off our books, you know, there's loads of stuff to consider. He'll also be on relatively modest wages, and to lock down, well, modest by Chelsea's recent standards, and to lock down a player like Enzo, like Mudryk on long-term deals on these wages is really, really sensible. They probably know that they have the opportunity, and this may even be in their contracts. Of course, I'm speculating here, that say a couple of years down the line, if they've won a Premier League, if they've won a Champions League, if Chelsea are just a really good team, they get maybe incremental pay rises. That's sort of relevant and relative rather to the revenue increase with Chelsea, maybe. I can't, obviously I'm not reacting from a report, that's speculative. Chelsea's official stance is that the transfer window has not been finalised. Ooh, with more than one club source stressing on Sunday night that is not 100% done. The reality is Pochettino, who's been desperate to strengthen his midfield, is going to land his top target. Chelsea refused to give up on Caicedo and have left Liverpool disappointed after outbidding them. There could be another blow for Liverpool. We'll speak about this a little bit more as well. If Chelsea bring in the signing of Southampton midfielder Romeo Lavia, Southampton remains in talks with both clubs over the sale of Lavia. Chelsea are leading the race after making a £55 million bid on Friday night. It's also been reported since that Liverpool have come back with 60 million, especially, you know, missing out on Caicedo. They'll have that extra money. It's proving to be another whirlwind for the Chelsea owners. Todd Boehly and Clearlake Capital, they broke the British transfer record when they signed Enzo in January, and now they're doing so again with Enzo, spending nearly £1 billion, 900 million since they bought the club last year. There will be questions, asked about Chelsea falling foul of financial fair play regulations, says Jacob Steinberg, the West Ham fan. They have conducted a clear out since the end of last season and raised funds, moving on 12 players so far, as well as, a salient point is here, alleviating themselves of some biblical level wage bill, which of course goes into financial fair play, and the new players are on much more modest wages, which will also help them in financial fair play. We've loaned out Kepa. We'll talk about him a little bit more as well. And of course, we've still got Lukaku. It's being linked to Ruddy Tottenham. Jesus Christ. I mean, that would work. Lukaku to Tottenham, I guess. Just get rid of him, it doesn't really matter. Gallagher's still in the shop window, Maatsen a little bit, Trevor Chalobah. Of course, Ziyech and Hudson-Odoi need to go before the window shuts, much like Romelu Lukaku. Pochettino wants further additions. We pulled out of Tyler Adams, the £20 million signing. We're worried about some medical details with him, and we're trying to sign Crystal Palace winger Michael Elise. The West London club also want a goalkeeper and striker. A goalkeeper and striker. Well, we will need a goalkeeper now because we can't just have Bettinelli and Sanchez. Sanchez could be a number one as far as I'm concerned. That's fine. But there's a lot to be done still. And the financial fair play thing, we have to believe, we have to subscribe to the owners knowing what they're doing because they keep talking about financial fair play before they bought Chelsea. They self-reported irregular reports from the Roman Abramovich era to UEFA. Clearly, they're trying to be very, very transparent and upfront to all regulating bodies, whether that's the Premier League or indeed UEFA, saying, look, these are our books. We're spending a lot, but we can look. So hopefully that's the case there. So on Romeo Lavia, Ben Jacobs of CBS tweets this: Liverpool have now made a 60 million package for Romeo Lavia. So this has been accepted by Southampton, reported this morning. And Lavia has always indicated he's open to a move to Anfield. Chelsea's last bid was £55 million. Should they proceed, it's going to come down to player choice. It's not quite the same with Moises Caicedo, who is set on Chelsea. Lavia spent much of the summer telling Liverpool he's keen on joining prior to Chelsea formally entering the race. And Liverpool have moved quickly with a higher offer than Chelsea's last bid. That's probably since losing out to Caicedo. Saints indicating it will simply come down to player choice, which implies they are willing to do a deal with both clubs. Second Chelsea versus Liverpool transfer battle in recent days. Yeah, wow. I mean, we reacted to a certain report indicating that Lavia was coming to Chelsea. Not that he chose Chelsea, that would get both. Caicedo chose Chelsea, but Chelsea would make the superior bid to Liverpool. Liverpool bid 45 million. We bid 58 million. And then we agreed with Southampton 50 million. But then Liverpool came back in... 55 million, excuse me, but then Liverpool came back in with 60. So Southampton are getting their wish. There's a bidding war for their central midfielder in Romeo Lavia, and whoever bids the most wins. But like I said, it sounds like both Chelsea and Liverpool will ultimately be willing to pay the same amount of money for Lavia. It's just the player choice. But Chelsea was seemingly very good at convincing players. We convinced Mudryk over Arsenal when he seemingly wanted to join Arsenal. Enzo Fernandez was desperate to join Chelsea to the point where he was gonna not play for Benfica, which is pretty telling. And of course, the latest and not necessarily greatest, but greatest in terms of transfer fee, Moises Caicedo was desperate to join Chelsea as well. So the pitch is good. The salesman pitch from Chelsea Football Club is a good one, and you can imagine that they'll try and put the whammy, as it were, on Romeo Lavia. If we get him, great. If we don't, it's not the end of the world, I don't think. Although we probably still could do with another midfielder. Right, Kepa's gone to Real Madrid. Guillermo Rai. That is a name that I sung because I don't know how to say it. Writes on The Athletic: Kepa's joined Real Madrid on a season-long loan from Chelsea. Courtois' ACL injury kept him out, and Kepa is emerging as the preferred choice. Courtois is expected to miss most of the campaign, with a best-case scenario of returning in April. So yeah, that's best-case scenario. You gotta say he's out for the season, really. They left him at Real Madrid only with Andre Lunin as the second goalkeeper on the books. The 24-year-old started against Athletic Bilbao. Only his 10th La Liga appearance since 2018. So 5 years, 10 appearances. So they obviously don't trust him. Kepa, meanwhile, regained his place as Chelsea's number one last season, having previously lost his starting berth from Edouard Mendy. Of course, for me, this is really, really good because it helps financial fair play, because it's another season without Kepa's 200k a week, crazy wages, probably more than double than Robert Sanchez, who's probably being viewed as Chelsea's number one by Ben Roberts and the goalkeeping coaches. That's probably what they wanted to nurture him into. He's on a 7-year deal, Rob Sanchez at Chelsea. That's probably the long-term plan. So they don't want Kepa sitting on the bench on twice the wages as Sanchez, screwing up financial fair play, because we're spending a lot of money, obviously. So he goes to Real Madrid. There's probably a loan fee, although I don't think it's been stated. They'll obviously play his wages. Real Madrid can play high wages, and they'll pay. He'll probably be less than Courtois, so they'll do that. And there'll probably be a loan fee. I'm not entirely sure on that, but what you'd like to hope. And like I said in previous videos, it's like the ultimate shop window job for Chelsea, because they don't have to pay his wages. Kepa plays. He has the highest profile stage to demonstrate his ability in his home country, where he might feel more comfortable. He should be pretty comfortable at Stamford Bridge now, but you know what I mean. And if he does become Spain's number one, just say somehow he does that again over Unai Simon, or at least gets second keeper or whatever, then there will be a market for him. Chelsea will sell Kepa for a few million quid. And the problem with Kepa is he's on high wages. He probably won't sign for Real Madrid unless something magical happens and he's really, really good. But he'll sign for another club on a 5-year deal. He will probably take a wage hit because he'll have 12 months left at Chelsea, and that's worth signing a 5-year deal somewhere of long-term security and probably a club that you feel more comfortable and probably in Spain as well. That'll be interesting to see where he could go. Really interesting stuff there. So I had to see Kepa go, but it's a big transition and it's a new dawn for Chelsea Football Club. I tell you what, let's bring it home, reiterating the importance of this double pivot of Enzo Fernandez and Moises Caicedo. Chef's kiss. Like I said, it's no slight on Conor Gallagher, who's an amazing professional, a very good footballer, and generally has been playing well. But to have that long-term plan, and part of me thinks we did play a 3-4-3 yesterday against Liverpool, which largely worked, by the way. If you want to watch my match review, it's the previous upload to this. Feel free to go watch that. It largely worked, but I feel like for Pochettino to play he's relatively dogmatic in his 4-2-3-1, but he needs that proper double pivot, and now he's got it. He's got Moises Caicedo, he's got Enzo Fernandez, and he can play his preferred formation, and Chelsea can march on and win every single trophy available to us. Anyway, let me know what you think. Always very keen to read your comments down in the comment section. Thank you for your continued support. Please do join the Yanatics. By subscribing, and we can get that road to 200,000 subscribers. Beautiful stuff. It really is. It really is. So thank you very much.